Under emotional manipulation, you don't realize you're being controlled. That's the point. It's not an attack with weapons. It's a quiet game played with guilt, obligation, and silence. The Stoics understood this long before psychology gave it a name. They taught that control over the self is the highest form of defense. You can't always stop others from trying to manipulate you, but you can become immune to it. The first step is awareness. Most manipulation thrives in the shadows, unnoticed. It sounds like, "After everything I've done for you," or "I guess I just care more than you do." These are not expressions of love. They are traps. And if your mind is untrained, you'll walk straight into them. The Stoic mind, however, doesn't react emotionally to every word. It questions motives. It observes patterns. It listens without immediately absorbing. You must train yourself to do the same, because when your peace depends on how others treat you, you've already lost. Emotional manipulation feeds on your need to be seen as good, kind, or loyal. It uses your virtues against you. But Stoicism teaches that virtue must never be blind. A strong mind isn't just kind, it's sharp. It knows when kindness is being weaponized. It knows when guilt is being planted. And it knows how to pause. That pause is everything. It gives you space to think, to measure, to stay centered when someone else is trying to pull you off balance. Manipulators hate that pause. They want quick reactions, tears, justifications, explanations. When you stop giving them that, they'd lose control. That's your power. Not in matching their emotion, but in refusing to be moved by it. The Stoic doesn't explain himself to those who twist his words. He doesn't play defense in games he didn't agree to. He simply watches, waits, and acts from a place of inner command, not outer chaos. That's how you become untouchable. To truly defend your mind, you have to train it like a warrior trains his body. Not just once, every day. You have to ask, what emotions are being triggered, and by who? What patterns repeat themselves? Are you reacting, or are you choosing your response? The Stoics journaled to track these things. They wrote down what disturbed them, what rattled them, and why. Because once you name the tactic, it loses its grip. You start to see manipulation not as personal, but as a tactic. A predictable move by someone who lacks better tools. And when you see it, you don't need to fight it with fire. You neutralize it with awareness. You let it pass through you. You respond with calm, not to please, not to provoke, but to protect your mind. That's the defense. And if this mindset is already speaking to something inside you, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Because every week, you're not just watching a video, you're sharpening your inner weapon. The manipulator will always test your boundaries. First gently, then aggressively. That's the pattern. They want to know what you'll tolerate. So you must define your limits, not out loud, but in your behavior. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. The moment you sense emotional leverage, when someone uses silence, drama, or guilt to push you, you step back. You reclaim space. You slow down the pace of interaction. That's Stoic control. You must understand, silence is not submission. In Stoicism, silence is a strategy. You use it to disconnect their hooks from your emotions. You let their storm pass without joining it. And when they realize you won't chase, explain, or beg, they lose their weapon. Because the weapon was always your reaction, and you've taken it away. That is real emotional freedom. The manipulator may not change, but they'll stop seeing you as an easy target. There's something powerful that happens when you stop needing to be understood. Most manipulation works because we want to defend ourselves. We want to prove our intention, to clear our name. but that need becomes a vulnerability. The Stoic knows that clarity doesn't always need to be verbalized. Your peace does not depend on them seeing your side. It depends on you being steady, regardless. The less you explain, the more powerful your presence becomes. You don't waste energy where it won't be respected. You don't overextend where trust has already been broken. Instead, you redirect that energy inward, into discipline, clarity, and purpose. That's how you stay grounded. Not by controlling the manipulator, but by refusing to be emotionally entangled. Their chaos no longer dictates your internal weather. You stop being a mirror. You become a wall, calm, solid, still, and untouchable. Emotional manipulation only thrives where identity is fragile. That's why the Stoics built their sense of self on virtue, not approval, not reputation, not outcomes, just character. Because when your values are your anchor, you can't be swayed by emotional storms. You don't chase apologies and you don't hand out explanations like gifts. You stand still while others unravel. That's the mark of someone who's trained their mind not to react, but to rule. So ask yourself, what's your emotional armor made of? Is it real or just performance? Because one day soon, someone will try to pull you off center. It might come wrapped in concern. It might sound like love, but it will be a test. And when that moment comes, remember this: you owe your peace to no one. Your clarity is your defense, and your silence, when intentional, is the loudest answer you can give.